जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवर जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रजजनरञ्जन जय यशोदानंदन जय जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रजजनरञ्जन जय यशोदानंदन जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी यमुना तीरवनचारी जय Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Punjabi Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Shira Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol हरि बोल, हरि बोल, नित्य गौर हरि बोल, नित्य गौर हरि बोल। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We will recite together. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jaya mudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavad sevaya भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा। So today we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is Canto 1, chapter number 8 and verse number 44. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.44. Sutuvacha Prathayetam Kalpadai Parinuta Khilodaya Mandam Jahasa Vaikuntho Mohayanni Vamayaya Rathayetham Kalapadai Parinuta Khilodaya Mandam Jahasa Vaikuntho Mohayanni Vamayaya Sutuvacha Rathayetham Kalapadai Parinuta Khilodaya Mandam Jahasa Vaikuntho Mohayanni Vamayaya. Yes, devotees can recite.
Sutavacha
Sutavacha
Krutayetham Kalapadaihi
Rathayetam Kalapadai
Parinuta Khilodayaha
Parinuta Khilodaya
Mandam Jahasa Vaikuntho
Mandam Jahasa Vaikuntho
Mohayan Nivamaya
Mohayanni Vamayaya. Sutavacha
प्रथयेत्थं कलपदै
Rathayetam Kalapadai
परिणुताखिलोदया
Parinuta Khilodaya
मन्दं जहास वैकुण्ठो
Mandam Jahasa Vaikuntho
निवं
Latpadai
Rathayetam Kalapadai
Parinuta Khilodaya
अखिलोदयः
मन्दं जहास वैकुण्ठो
मन्दं जहास वैकुण्ठो
मोहयन्नीव मायया
मोहयन्नीव मायया. Our devotee can recite online. If anyone wants, they can unmute themselves and recite. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sutta Vacha
Tutuvacha
Pratyetham Kalapadai
Prathayetam Kalapadai
Parinuta Khilodaya
Parimukta Khilodaya
Mandam Jahasa Vaikuntho
Mandam Jahasa Vaikuntho
Mohayan Iva Mayaya.
Mohayanni Vaya. Thank you, Mataji. Word to word meaning. Suta Vacha. Sut said. Prathaya. By Pratha Kunti. Itham. This. Kalapadahi. By chosen words. Parinuta. Being worshipped. Akhila. Universal. Udayaha. Glories. Mandam. Mildly. Jahasa. Smiled. Vaikuntha. The Lord. Mohayan. Captivating. Iva. Like. Mayaya. His mystic power. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sud Goswami said, the Lord, thus hearing the prayers of Kunti Devi, composed in choice words for his glorification, mildly smiled. That smile was as enchanting as his mystic power. Purport: anything that is enchanting in the world is said to be a representation of the Lord. The conditioned souls who are engaged in trying to lord it over the material world are also enchanted by his mystic powers. But his devotees are enchanted in a different way by the glories of the Lord, and his merciful blessings are upon them. His energy is displayed in different ways, as electrical energy works in manifold capacities. Srimati Kunti Devi has prayed to the Lord just to enunciate a fragment of his glories. All his devotees worship him in that way, by chosen words, and therefore the Lord is known as Uttama Shlok. No amount of chosen words is sufficient to enumerate the Lord's glory, and yet he is satisfied by such prayers as the Father is satisfied even by the broken linguistic attempts of the growing child. The word Maya is used both in the sense of delusion and mercy. Herein, the word Maya is used in the sense of Lord's mercy upon Kunti Devi. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, we welcome you all for this morning Srimad Bhagavatam session. And I would like to request all the devotees to bless that I can speak on this subject matter. And we'll discover in this verse today that how blessings of the devotees are actually empowering any person or other person to become a devotee. So, it's my humble request that whatever you find good is because of devotees, and if there is any shortcoming, so please understand it's because of my approach to this process, and provide your feedback accordingly. Hare Krishna. So this verse is very enchanting. There is something first time in Srimad Bhagavatam where Prabhupada is written on this mystic power of Lord's enchanting smile. Furthermore, if we go deep into the Srimad Bhagavatam, the subject matter, then we'll understand that at least 15 times further in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada has spoken on this verse. Not because he wanted to speak, but as we know, Srimad Bhagavatam is a dialogue between some sage who is being asked a question, and on the other hand is another sage, Rishi, Raj Rishi, a sadhu, a householder, or a brahmachari grasta, and they are being told the power of Lord's smile. So before we go in Bhagavatam verses, let's first try to understand what is the power of a smile. So in our day-to-day world, even if we see, smile plays n number of roles. If you would have prepared for your interview, which most of you would have done because you are in IT companies, so you would have gone through this process of interview. There is some subject which we need to learn are called verbal communication and non-verbal communication. So verbal communication means what you write or what you express, but through your mouth, words, verbal, whatever you are able to communicate through your words. But more than that, whatever we do throughout the day is mostly non-verbal communication, right? And non-verbal communication means where verbs are not involved. Verb means root phrases or words which expresses day-to-day activities. So non-verbal means your expressions. Like if I am angry, so my eyes will be broad, right? There would be frowns on my face. Eyebrows will lit up like, oh, right? If I am happy, there would be a smile. But nowadays we see crookedness also having a face of a smile, right? If I have to say no, then generally you never say no. It is always your head nodding somewhere or your eyes, right? So these are called non-verbal communication skills. So Lord is master in all these things. We are just a tiny toddler, right? So we learn what is our limitation in expressing our non-verbal communication and where up to what extent Lord can go. So first of all, mostly smile is used to acknowledge in our day-to-day life. Like I'm giving Shrimad Bhagavatam, and at the end somebody wants to say thanks. So before saying thanks, what would happen? They would have a smile coming to that person, whoever is giving Shrimad Bhagavatam, isn't it? So that itself shows there is some acknowledgement that whatever you have done is good. And good means appreciation. So these two things are always there with us, for which we profusely uses this smile, showing our teeth, broadening of cheeks, right? So these things are used just to first is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement of what, yeah, I accept whatever you have done, right? Which is very important. And second thing is appreciation. So in terms of appreciation in our day-to-day life, it may come on the surface as part of reciprocation of what service we have received from other person. But generally we see even that appreciation is tinged with envy. Why not me? Why only that person? So although we are approaching a person to show our reciprocation, to say a non-verbal thanks by giving a smile, but in the core of heart we do not know what is going on, how much actually we are appreciating, because there is deep-rooted envy within us. So we should be very careful in these two things. If you do not acknowledge, then please start acknowledging. This is the best way you can reciprocate to the devotees or anyone. Even in material world, if you want to reciprocate, this is the best way. How do you reciprocate to a child? When you see someone in the lift or going outside, if you see someone and he's very happy, how do you reciprocate? By giving back a smile, right? And how does a child replies? He has no other tools except to capture anyone's attention. And what are those two tools? Anyone would like to say? Yes, Proje. Crying, crying and a smile. So powerful, right? In terms of our relationship with the Lord, also same tools are very important. But only thing, the reciprocation exchanges. We generally do not smile looking at the face of the Lord in our conditioned stage. We are always crying. But that crying also is for just for the sake of material good. That, oh Krishna, I want to remain in this material world. Therefore, I am crying. Please provide everything, whatever is required to keep me in material world. So such cry hues are not appreciated by Krishna. He smile at this actually crookedly, but not Krishna. It is told that backside of Krishna is Maya. The moment you forget Krishna, there is Maya. So this smiling face is of actually of Maya. When we are trying to put our plea, our request before Lord in terms of getting something material benefit, then such acknowledgement and appreciation comes in terms of crooked smile of Maya. So we should be very careful because she is very happy to keep us busy in this material world. Oh, you want something which you want to have here and you want to ensure you remain here happy? Take it. I am there to give it. Why to go to Krishna? Don't disturb my master. I am here. Take it. And that smile is very crooked. To bind us eternally. To bind us eternally in this material world. But if we really want to go out of this material world, then we need to invoke that feeling of love in the heart of Krishna so that he smiles in the same way the way he is smiling to Kunti Devi. And we'll come to that process in the last. And that is most important for us to learn. But just going through the flow. So, first thing we learned, it is an acknowledgement which we need to learn in our day to day life, whether being in a spiritual circle or outside world. It's very much required. We cannot function actually without it. Then comes appreciation. Paper smile, people use as an IT word. If you do not smile back to your managers, your leads, if you're given presentation and you just be like neutral, you cannot expect something good coming to you. So you want to have material results, you need to have these things. Acknowledgement, appreciation. Then you can understand what would be the potency in the spiritual world for such things. It is told that just by a glance or movement of an eyebrow, Srimati Radharani makes Krishna fall. If you read about Govardhan Leela, then just by little movement of a glance and a smile of Radharani, Krishna is disturbed. So that is spiritual world. And those things are way different what we understand here. It's totally perverted reflection, right? How? Then we'll understand. Another thing of a smile is attraction. I don't know whether you remember your college or school days. Whenever there is attraction between a boy and a girl, you'll see they'll have mild smile on each other's face. They'll talk through their smile. More than that, I don't know, but that's what I have seen, and most of you would have seen. So through that, we can understand. Even forget about that. That is quite mundane and perverted. Talk about celebs, celebrities. How do they respond to their fans? Fan movement. That is generally their smile. So even if you want to attract someone, what you need to have, or somebody has attracted your heart, what was that? Eyes, smiling eyes of someone which captured your heart, isn't it? So even if we talk about celebrities, politicians, your close, near, dear friends, it's always through smile. So it creates attraction. But what is the supreme most attraction which a jiva can have? That is the smile of Lord Shri Krishna. And we'll see further how is it. Shastras gives the proof. And finally, we have discussed about it provides an acknowledgement, then it provides appreciation, a kind of reciprocation which everyone long for, right? Third is attraction, which enchants our hearts, right? And finally comes assurance. Without assurance, everything remains on the superficial level. Suppose you went to meet or give an interview, everything happened very nicely, and at the last, he gave nice smile, and you also smiled back, but he did not speak. What is missing here? In this communication, what do you expect? What is missing here? You gave answers, he asked questions, you gave answers. You are feeling internally, oh, he's satisfied, thereby he's smiling. And you are smiling back, thinking, if I'll not smile, you think I'm not still happy, right? So you are just reciprocating. But can you say you are selected by just mere glance of a smile? Still, you'll have that feeling of envy, which you can sense in that person's heart. He might also smile out of envy. Oh, beta, batata hu tere ko kuch nahi hua tera. You are utterly rejected. You have that feeling of, fear of unknown. So you cannot be what? You cannot be assured. So smile also can transform or provide an information over assurance, security, satisfaction. So if these four things are there, then we actually feel in the core of our heart very satisfied, right? Otherwise, we feel it could be this, it could be that. Coming back to this verse, if you read first line, Prabhupada write, anything that is enchanting in the world is said to be a representation of the Lord. Anything enchanting. You call it whether we are creation in this material world, nice blossomed flowers, whether it's a serene lake, deep oceans, everything is actually reflection of Lord. But the conditioned souls who are engaged in trying to lord it over the material world are also enchanted by his mystic power. So this word here, Mayaya, is quite potent in this connection to understand. And rightly, Prabhupada also writes in between, if you here in the word Maya is used in the sense of Lord's mercy upon Kunti Devi. But before that, the word Maya is used both in the sense of delusion and mercy. So if we consider ourselves we are a devotee, we will expect that our situation is like of Kunti Devi. We are expecting reciprocation of Lord in terms of smile as a mercy. But how can you be sure whether it's really mercy? As I told, it's not a guarantee until unless you know the heart of Krishna. Anyone coming to take darshan of our dear Lordship, Radha Vrindavan Chand, Radha Gopinath, Radha Madan Mohan. How are they posing themselves to everyone? Whether that person is a crooked, debauch, thief, politician, celebrity, devotee, non-devotee. How is he reciprocating to everyone? Smile. How do you know that this smile is actually Karunamayi? You cannot say perfectly. It is the feeling of heart, right? In the utter ignorance, also a person can understand, oh, Lord is so nice. He always smiles when I look at him. But that's not the case for every jiva. So we'll come on to that. What do we understand? It is very rightly said, a smile confuses an approaching frown. Frown, you understand? If you are in feeling of something is going wrong, so that means the person is going to get angry on you. If you smile, there are chances you can be saved from that anger or wrath, right? So even if you see how easy communication becomes when there are smileys and emojis, just think of the life before when you had text only, everything, and how much miscommunication. You're trying to say something, but because of the position of the word or not proper punctuation used, it becomes totally utter chaos. You want to say something and you have communicated something else. But nowadays, so easy because there is a emotion involved in your communication. If you're really happy, you're not to say much. Oh, thank you. Good, very nice. I'm satisfied. You just put thumbs up. You provide a cheeky smiley, right? How easy it is. So same thing we uses, but unfortunately we are not able to understand in our reciprocation with the Lord. So now coming to this part, we'll try to bifurcate, not bifurcate, elaborate, elucidate on the word smile. So if you break this word smile, there are 5 letters: S, M, I, L, E, right? 5 letters. In through each letter, we'll try to understand what does it mean by smile. So first S represents satisfying to the core of the heart. It is only possible in terms of relationship with Krishna. And if you want to know about this, let's go into the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, there is told that Lord Krishna lists satisfaction of the mind as one of the austerities in the mode of goodness. There are different austerities provided to the people who are in different modes. So that person who is in the mode of goodness, for him, the satisfaction of the mind is considered, or satisfaction of the heart. Heart is very deep. So satisfaction of the mind is considered the austerity of mind, right? So, but that is for the person who is in the mode of goodness, and as a being a devotee or as practicing devotee, we all are expecting that we want to be in mode of goodness. But how does it function? Because the more we try to find satisfaction in the object of this material world, problem is we become entangled. The day we purchase new mobile, new uttri dhoti kurta, how nice it feels. The moment little scratch, black spot, or tear tone, whatever is there on your new pair of clothes, how much it puts us into that pain. So it comes as a package, right? Happiness, distress comes as a package. You cannot depend on it. So whoever is there in terms of an as an object of love in reciprocation, you can never expect except only one person. That is Krishna. And how he is this? So there is a Srimad Bhagavatam 3.2833 purport. If you want to go, that is fine. These are those topics where Lord Kapila is speaking about the pure devotional service. What is pure devotional service? How we can practice it in one's life, and what are the outcomes, right? So this process is explained by Bhagwan Kapil himself to Mata Devhuti. There Prabhupada write, the exceptional beauty of the laughter of the Lord Vishnu is that when he smiles, his small teeth, like nicely arranged birds of jasmine flower, right, which resemble the birds of jasmine flowers, at once become reddish. Why reddish? Reflecting his rosy lips. Generally, when you see teeth, it is white, but while seeing the teeth, nobody can ignore the nice lips of the Lord, which are like bimbo fruit, right? And then it comes. If the yogi, because he's explaining the Sankhya step by step process, counteracting 24 elements and coming above it, finally the false ego, there he writes, if the yogi is able to place the beautiful face of the Lord in the core of his heart, he will become completely satisfied. Courage- Arjuna was in bewilderment, 7th chapter, punishment to the son of Drona, Aswathama. There was a decision which was hanging in it between. There was one party who was thinking, no, son of a Brahmana, our teacher, how can he be killed? There was another party heavily beating, smashing his fist against the palm. I will kill him right now. So there was a tug of war. How did Krishna resolve this? If you read that section, there is a description after answering the query what Arjuna should do. He should kill also, but not kill. He should please both the parties. These were the two verdicts given by Krishna. And finally, he smiled, expecting Arjuna has understood. So, this is the nature of a beloved or the dearmost friend, Suhrit, that without speaking, everything is spoken, and without acknowledging, yes, I have understood, by doing that decision of following what is expected, it is justified that he has actually understood the heart of that person. So, what Krishna wanted to convey was communicated finally by a smile, and Arjuna also reciprocated by justifying that act which was supposed to be done, which was actually cutting his hairs, leaving 5 shikhas, right? Half of the mustaches removed. So in that way, Brahmana was killed also, and or Kshatriya, but not killed also physically. So there comes smile of the Lord, which actually you see always understood by a devotee only, not everyone. So here Prabhupada right, he will be completely satisfied. So by that smile, everyone in that assembly, Draupadi, Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, everyone became satisfied. Whatever Krishna spoke or the way he smiled, right? If you read about any section, Lord Nrsimhadev's appearance to Prahlad Maharaj, that is little vivid and different to understand. He did not smile. First, he did the surgery of the whole army, and finally, the main patient, Hiranyakashipu. But in all other sections, you see, wherever person is approaching Lord, whether Prithu Maharaj is approaching Lord, Dhruv Maharaj approaching Lord within heart, Narad Muni approaching Lord, there is always a sweet smile of the Lord, which actually first satisfies. Dhruv Maharaj was burning inside, finding solace to have revenge, and not a small revenge. He said, what to take over his kingdom? No, 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 no. I'll subdue it. And what to him? His father's father. He will be looking at me like this. So he wanted kingdom which was considered bigger than Lord Brahma. Now do comparison. There are n number of Manus in the life of Brahma, right? And from Manus different kings come, and one of such person was Utthanpad. Now what is the comparison if you go beyond Brahma? So he said when he had a darshan of Lord with beaming smile, he said, I was looking for diamond. No, 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 no. I was looking for glass, and you are ready to give diamonds, but I am so wretched, so ignorant that I desired only pieces of glass, and you were ready to give diamonds. That is the power of a smile. Without communication, everything communicated, and heart became satisfied, overflowing with devotion to Lord. So S means smile, means which satisfy us to core of our heart. That is only possible from Lord Krishna. Finally coming to, not finally, second coming to mystical. M. M represent here mystical smile, as I have already cleared. Mystical because for non-devotees who are not approaching Krishna, only approaching his material energy, it is mystical and would remain mystical. Why? Because they will be playing with Maya, Maha Maya, which would be deluding, confusing, killing life after life, keeping us nicely engaged here. So why it is mystical? Because that smile of Maya is also from whom? Krishna. And one smile of Lord, which he always gives to his devotees. So in that way, Lord's smile is always mystical. So this verse is the reference for it, what we have read. 1.8.44. Mohayan Niva Maya. The smile was as an enchanting as his mystic power. Right? There is no limit to Krishna's mystic potency. Right? If you see in Srimad Bhagavatam, he is the one who is creating by lying down without putting any efforts, and there also he's smiling. Everything is coming to the end, and still he's smiling. For us, it's like just destruction of one building in one corner of the world is war, yuddha ka agaj, but not for Lord. N number of universes are getting annihilated just by the will of the Lord. That is the mystic potency of the Lord. And in each phases he smiles. When Gandhari was giving curse to Lord, what was he doing? Simply smiling. And when n number of devtas were showering with flowers, praising him in form of Lord Ram, Varahadeva, whatever, he was simply smiling. That is Lord. Perfect renunciate. What would be renounce when we have nothing? Krishna renounced Mathura, defeating 17 times whom? Jarasan. And when he went there, Dwarika, people called him Rana Chor. But that is also celebrated as Ranachorji, right? There is a temple, there are deities in Rajasthan, Ranachorji. And what about us? If somebody goes away from battle, we would be remembered as Ranachor, like this, thumbs down. So that is the power of renunciation of Lord. S- His smile is always enchanting. It is told that Kalyavan who had come to fight against Krishna, he was standing at that other side. And when he saw the Krishna, he was totally utter bewildered because Krishna was coming towards him slowly, slowly running. He was smiling. So he got stuck in that face only. Why is he smiling? What is the reason? Whether he's my enemy, what does he want? He's coming to surrender or what? And just Krishna came little bit closer and just took a sharp turn and just went away. So he got stuck. Such is the power of smile of Lord. When he gave darshan to Muchkunda, there also he smiled. When Muchkunda woke up, Kalyavan was killed. But there also Krishna smiled and satisfied the heart of Muchkund. So therefore it is told, although he is in the deity form here, actually main function of Lord is to actually pacify, satisfy the heart. But those who are not understanding this, for them, unfortunately, it is crooked smile of Maya. Now coming to the next part, S M we are covered. I. So I stands for infectious in giving fearlessness. Infectious you call a disease when it approaches others without much of relation or in contact. So such diseases are called infectious. And fearlessness which Lord's smile gives to the devotee is also so infectious that nobody can handle that. It is only the function of Lord's smile. Other person is smiling except a baby who is totally dependent on mother and father. He only actually in that position of fully dependent being on the parent, he only understands what does it mean of that smile when someone is trying to harm that baby. So as soon as they turn towards the face, they turn their face towards mother, and mother or father smiles, they understand this is not big trouble for me. The situation is not dangerous. They'll run towards them, right? So that assurance of fearlessness only comes through the smile of Krishna to the living entity. Because once you grow even a little, you start depending on yourself. And then you fall down from bicycle, bike. Then you fight with others. There is only one thing left: cry. There is no assurance of fearlessness. You lose your money. You lose your something near dear ones. There is only one thing remain. What is that? Crying. Where is that fearlessness? That fearlessness can be instilled only through the infectious smile of Lord. People come running in the adverse situation. Why? Because nobody in the world in that situation actually is smiling back to them. Suppose somebody has left the world, right? You go to their place and you smile. They'll understand something wrong. Could be something else could be understood. But same person, if they come to Lord, they'll never misunderstand Lord. Why? Because they actually understand He is the one who can provide me actually fearlessness. He can actually remove my sorrows. So that is infectious smile of Lord, right? Giving fearlessness. And then comes L. Such infectious smile, which is instilling fearlessness in the heart, actually make us throbbing for that love. So L stands for lasting love. When somebody actually help you in your problematic situation, then actually that love develops in our heart for that person. Friend in need is friend in deed, isn't it? So when somebody actually reciprocates you, removes your fear, misery, then you feel connected to that person, isn't it? That love between, that bond between a mother and a child is always sacred. Why? Because there is always protection, there is always assurance I am there. There always that confirmation, whatever happens, you are my darling, you are my lovely little one. So that love remains. How? By accepting that assurance that there is no harm can be done to you if I'm there. So that love lasts when we have such relationship. So in that connection, if we go same Srimad Bhagavatam 3.8.27 purport 3.8.27, beautiful lines of Srila Prabhupada. Devotees do not ask anything from the Lord. Devotees do not ask anything from the Lord in exchange for their service. Even the most desirable liberation is refused by devotees, right? Different kind of liberations are there. Salokya sashti samipya sarupekatvam apiyuta diyamanam na grahananti vinamat sevanam jana. The pure devotees of Lord, they reject all kinds of liberation, living in the Vaikuntha at the same planet with same bodily features, sharing same opulence. No. What to speak of being one, ekatvam, keep aside. It's low. Only thing if they aspire for is the service of the Lord. So first line, devotee do not ask anything for from the Lord in exchange for their service. That is the power of service. The whole world, if they are sane, they have some knowledge, they are looking for liberation. And devotees are saying, hell with liberation. If there is no service, such powerful person. Even the most desirable liberation is refused by devotees, although offered by the Lord Himself. Theme after theme, same theme. Dhruv Maharaj saying, no, 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 I don't want any material world opulence. 35,000 साल के लिए दे रहे हो भगवान, प्लीज क्या कर रहे हो? I don't want that planet also. Shishumar Dweep, Dhruv planet, where I would be the Lord. No. Prahlad Maharaj, no, 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 no. Tad bhritr bhritr bhritya. So many times he says, right? For what? Please make me that nice servant of my Guru Maharaj, who has given me this power that I am able to understand you, serve you. Give me association of your devotees so that they remind me who am I, what is my position, and who are you. They do not want liberation, they just want service. Then further Prabhupada writes, thus the Lord becomes a kind of debtor to the devotees, and he can only try to repay the devotees' service with his ever enchanting smile. When he was discussing, when Lord was discussing with Durvasa, he was saying, Sadhavo Hridayo Mahayam. I am always residing in the heart of my devotees, and they always reside in the heart of me. I do not know anyone except them, and they do not know anyone except me. Now, hell with you. Who are you? Neither you are my devotee, and nor you have pleased my devotee. How can I protect you? Same Vishnu in the form of Lord Ram is saying that whoever comes to me and surrender even once, even in jokingly, if we say, Ram, my dear Lord Ram, I am yours. Even once he says, in ignorance, I will accept him and give Abhaydan. And this is not just the word. Ramanuja Sampradaya Acharya writes, Gaurang Prabhu shares in his lecture. To testify this, there is a conversation further elaborated by devotees. Then comes, he says what to speak of giving Abhaydan. Even if today Ravan comes and surrenders, I'll give him what? Lanka. But Vibhishan has been already coronated. So, so devotee testifies, my lord, what are you saying? I've already given Lanka to him. You'll give Lanka? How is it possible? Lanka? I'll give Ayodhya. To whom? Vibhishan. But again there is challenge because Lanka is handled by Vibhishan. Now you give Lanka to Raman. Then you are giving Ayodhya to Vibhishan. But Ayodhya is already being ruled by whom? Bharat. So now what? I'll give the Vaikunt to whom? Bharat. Then what will you do? I'll serve. Ram says, I'll just serve. And he's not saying he's ready to do that. And he did that also. So that is the power of Lord's assurance. So he repays the debts of devotion of the devotees who are not desiring anything except service to the Lord by enchanting smile. The devotees are ever satisfied by the smiling face of the Lord, and they become enlivened. And by seeing the devotees so enlivened, the Lord himself is further satisfied. So there is continuous transcendental competition between the Lord and his devotees by such reciprocated procreation of service and acknowledgement. This pastime you see in the terms of gopis and Krishna. Krishna, when they see the facial expression and beauty of Lord with a smiling, enchanting face, they become very happy. This pastime actually happened at, if you go to the Barsana, there is one Priyakund, which is Pili Pokhar now. You remember Binodji Babaji is there. And there is another Kund. I'm missing that name. What is it? Prem Sarovar. Prem Sarovar is just before Nandgaon. If you go from Barsana towards uh, Nandgaon, there is Prem Sarovar. So this pastime actually happened there. That Krishna was there, Radharani was there, and just it was happening. That whole atmosphere became so enlivening and happy. Why? Because by seeing each other's facial expression, that love and happiness increased multifolds. So Krishna looking back at the Radharani, then Radharani looking at back Krishna. So such are the reciprocation between devotees and Krishna. Prabhupada writes that just by looking at each other, their love and their happiness increases ever and ever, right? So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.8.27, right? And finally, E, for which Krishna actually comes, enchanting. In general terms, we are understood it by attraction. Why Krishna takes his pastimes or Leela in this material world? There are n number of reasons. The foremost is to enchant, attract the conditioned jivas, because the only hope remains. Why anyone would like to do devotional service, become your servant eternally? Until their hearts are attracted, enchanted. Why anyone would like to lose them if they are not feeling something they are getting? That form, that smile of Lord is so nice. It fills the heart of the devotees. We will read few verses quickly, which our Lord Kapila have spoken on this, which will also fill your heart. I pray to Lordship with devotion to Lord. 3.28.29 onwards. 3.28 and 3.28 chapter 29th verse onward, right? So if you want to read together, we can. भृत्यानुकम्पितधियेयग्रहीतमूर्ते सञ्चिन्तयेद भगवतो वदनारविन्दं यद्विस्फुरन्मकरकुण्डलवल्गितेन विद्योतितामलकपोलमुदारनासम्. Translation, anyone would like to read? We can. Countenance.
Clear cheeks are illuminated by os- oscillation of his glittering alligator-shaped earrings.
So before this, different paraphernalia of Lord are exalted. His chest, his earrings, his necklace, garlands, and now it is coming to the personal feature, his face. So it is starting with his crystal clear cheeks, illuminated by the oscillation of his glittering alligator shaped. And what is the effect? Who represents his different forms in the world out of compassion for the anxious devotees. Anxiety of the devotees is cast away by mere the glance on the face of Lord. Next, 3.28.30. यच्छ्रीनिकेतमलिभिः परिसेव्यमानं भूत्या स्वया कुटिलकुन्तलवृन्दजुष्टं मीनद्वयाश्रयमधीक्षितपद्मजनेत्रं ध्यायेन मनोमयमतीन्द्रित उल्लसद्भु. Translation? Anyone? Someone else?
The yogi then meditates upon the beautiful face of the Lord, which is adorned with curly hair and decorated by lotus-like eyes and dancing eyebrows. A lotus surrounded by swarming bees and a pair of swimming fish would be put to shame by its elegance.
Further, you see his dancing eyebrows, eyes, right? Lotus surrounded by swarming bees and pair of swimming fish would be put to shame by its elegance, right? Further, 31. तस्यावलोकमधिकं कृपयाति घोर तापत्रयोमशमनाय नृशिष्मक्ष्णो स्निग्धस्मितानुगुणितं विपुलप्रसादं ध्येयेच्चिरं विपुलभावनया गुहायाम्. Translation?
The
Someone
yogi
else?
should contemplate with full devotion the compassionate glances frequently cast by the Lord's eyes, for they soothe the most fearful threefold agonies of his devotees. His glances, accompanied by loving smiles, are full of abundant grace.
Coming to the smile, which actually fills the heart. So they soothe the most fearful threefold agonies of his devotees. Right? Tritap, Adidevik, Adibhautik, Adhyatmik. Four issues, biggest issues in this material world. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. So these features of the Lord, his smile actually brings our consciousness back to the reality from the delusion of this material world. Next. 32. This is the main verse. संहरेरवनिताखिललोकतीव्र शोकाशु सागरविशोषणमत्युदारम् सम्मोहनाय रचितं निजमाययास्य भ्रूमण्डलं मुनिकृते मकरध्वजस्य. Translation.
A yogi should similarly meditate on the most benevolent smile of Lord Sri Hari, a smile which, for all those who bow to him, dries away the ocean of tears caused by intense grief. The yogi should also meditate on the Lord's arched eyebrows, which are manifested by his internal potency in order to charm the sex god for the good of the sages.
Dries away the ocean of tears, not of this life. How there someone can say, is it Atishayokti? Like there are upma, there are alankars. So there is Atishayokti alankar. हनुमान की पूछ में लगन न पाई आग, लंका सिकरी जल गई, भय निशाचर भाग. There was not even put some flame on the tail of Lord Hanuman, and immediately whole Lanka burnt. It's like to glorify. Ha, not over. This is used in different way. Sometimes it is Shiokti, means it's Shukti only. It is for the profuse glorification of the Lord, but it is spoken in such a way that it enlivens the hearer. And sometimes it is other way also. चढ़चेतक पर तलवार उठा करता था भूतल पानी को, राणा प्रताप सर काट काट करता था सफल जवानी को. So this is another word which actually enthralls with fear. Right? Check out. So this is also Atishokti, but in a different way. It fills our heart with fears. So such uktis or shrinks are used in our scriptures to enliven the hearer so that they become fully awake. And when you hear such glories, right? So it is like chad chetak par talwar utha karta tha bhutal pani ko. Bhutal pani ko, what does it mean? The person who is standing, na, they will not able to just remain there. This neck or their head would come to the bhutal pani ko. Rana Pratap sir kaat kaat karta tha safal jamani ko, which means he had cut so many heads that there was no difference between water and bhutal, means that whole earth became drenched with blood, that water. So it's like so much, like it is told about Bhim. How would you identify which part of the Mahabharat Kurukshetra war he is fighting? So it is written in Mahabharata. Vyasdev writes that whichever part of that Yuddha Kshetra, 60 by 60 kilometer area it happened. So whichever part you hear the most heinous and very crying sounds, pitiable sounds, you understand he might be there. Then further assurance, you go to that side, and as soon as you start walking, you will see it would not remain that uh, only soil or sand. It will be mixed with some water. And what kind of water? Kurukshetra means red soil. Red. And further you walk towards those cries, hues and cries, there would be not soil now. Water would be there. What kind of water? Red, bloody water. Further you move into, then you will see a person just with his fist smashing people in such a way that there is only sand. And what is happening? What is happening? How would you identify he is only Bhim? If you say on his face, there only one white thing would be visible, his teeth and two eyes. Everything would be red in blood. So when you read certain things, you become, oh my lord, what is this? So this is just to make us aware what is going on. So here it is told, dries away the ocean of tears. What does it mean by ocean of tears? Tears कितना मतलब कुछ ml भी नहीं होता है वो, you cannot fill a shampoo sachet with your tears. It's very difficult. Somebody can try if they want to. 8 ml is the bare minimum sachet of a shampoo. You try to fill that. It will take years. So what does it mean that it is not of this life? Whatever feelings of pain, agony we have gone through, life after life, and all the species of life, that is immediately removed by just one glare effulgence and a smile of Lord. That is the power of smile. Gajendra, he fought for how long? Anyone remembers? 1,000 years of whom? Celestial years. My Lord. You multiply by 36,000 or something, 365, right? Our 1 year is there 12 hours kind of. So if you can, even if you consider one day, then it will be like 365 into 1 into 1,000. That many years he fought just to release himself. And just mere presence of Lord made it everything soothing, right? All the tears of intense grief would be removed. And next verse, this would be final. ध्यानायनं प्रहसितं बहुलाधरोष्ठ भासारुणायततनु द्विजकुन्दपङ्क्ति ध्यायेत् स्वदेहकुहरे वशितस्य विष्णोर्भक्त्यार्दयार्पितमना न पृथक् दिदृक्षेत्. The laughter of Vishnu is so captivating that it can be easily meditated upon. When the Supreme Lord is laughing, one can see his small teeth, which resemble jasmine buds rendered rosy by the splendor of his lips. Once devoting his mind to this, the yogi should no longer desire anything. The most important here is the yogi should no longer desire to see anything else because nothing remained now. So, final aspiration for a devotee is what? To see the laughter or a smile of a Lord. What actually gopis used to wait for to look at Lord when he used to play his murli, but finally what? His smile would enchant the heart of the gopis. His smile enchant the n number of devotees of the Lord throughout the universe. So it is always a smile which we should look for, or which we should aspire for. In previous verses, you heard that just by looking at the eyebrows of Lord, one will get such a power that he can overcome the power of Cupid's arrows, lustful desires. It will be gone. It is told that so many different means are given for a sadhu or a practitioner to overcome this utterly failure in one's life, which is lust, which binds us life after life. But the solution, different solutions are given. You do this, you do that. If you're feeling something agitated, then take cold water bath. Then you meditate, then you pranayam, control your breathing, then you chant also this, that you read. But ultimately, most powerful thing is given is Lord's face. Just come to the altar, have a darshan, try to admire the beauty and compassionate glance of Lord. That itself will eradicate all these sins within our hearts. So that is the power of smile of Lord. So I'll close this with my request that whatever you find it soothing, please pray for me that I can also come over these different agonies, anxieties, life after life we are going through, and we can appreciate fully to the heart this smiling face of Lord, his laughter. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Gaura Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. If anyone is having any question, one question if we can take, otherwise we'll close. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.